Hi, I'm Joan Newcomb, Conscious Mastery Coach, and today's Mystic Minute is about discerning your inner being from all those other voices. I guess first we have to define what your inner being is. I was on a law of attraction call once where we were all discussing the concepts of Abraham Hicks, and someone had a very clear awareness of their inner being, but it wasn't them. So they had interpreted it to mean that the inner being was something other than who they were, kind of like you carry around the God within you, and so you're communicating to that God. I have a different perspective because I see you as the essence of who you are, and that is you as your inner being. So you can just kind of feel the difference that when you connect with yourself as consciousness, you connect with yourself as your inner being. Just a slightly different perspective, but the thing I notice is a very substantial energy difference when you can discern who you are. And maybe that's the entire video for today. So here's the thing. It often feels like we're run by committee. We have a committee in our head. We have a bunch of different voices giving input. And sometimes you can break it down. You go, oh, that's my critical voice, or that's my inner kid, or that's my rebel that just wants to say screw it all or whatever. And yes, we have all those different aspects. It's kind of like we have sub-personalities, and the sub-personalities are sum totals of our different ages that we were in childhood, and also all the different roles that we embody. And then there is a energetic core aspect of who we are. So you can define it as your inner being. You can define it as yourself. Define it as yourself as consciousness. Now, here's the thing that we all get confused about is like, how do we discern the difference with all this different input? Because at the surface, it all sounds like us. The voice in your head comes in with the same accent that's programmed into your GPS. You don't get the benefit of going, oh, that sounds like my grandmother or whatever. You're hearing the same voice, but it's coming from all these different attitudes. So then you can go, oh, wait, that definitely was my grouchy self, or that definitely was my inner kid. So you discern them in different ways than just audio. You can discern them by the different feelings they provoke. And the thing is that they may actually have core valid uses. Like, for instance, your inner kid might be giving you information about how to best care for your body or your psyche at this time. It's like, well, maybe you need a nap. Maybe you just need to take a break and go outside and enjoy the sunshine. Maybe you need to eat something. So that can help you learn how to best care for yourself as you're navigating through your world. The critical voice, I'm not certain what kind of value that really has, except that it wakes you up to going, oh, that is historical patterns. That is not who I am. That is this leftover programming that is running from within that isn't going to help me navigate or get to where I want to go. It reminds me of a GPS that I had a long time ago, back when they first came out, and it would always take me through downtown in the middle of rush hour. I later figured out it wasn't programmed to do U-turns or anything, so I would be a block away from the on-ramp to the freeway that would get me home in like 10 minutes. So it would direct me right down, this was in DC, so down the middle of M Street in Georgetown, right in the middle of rush hour. And how many times do we allow ourselves to be navigated by programming that is misinformed, doesn't have the full directions, or just that their maps are out of date? So how you discern your inner voice is really by the feeling that it creates within you. For me, it feels strong, it feels stable, It feels an authority. It feels in command. It feels confident. I hesitate to say it feels brave or courageous, but I would say that the actions that I take when I'm operating as my self as consciousness may be perceived by other people as brave or courageous, whereas for me, it's just the thing to do. And here's the other thing is we're not used to identifying ourselves as that essence. We're used to placing that upon God or a saint or a higher power. And I would say that that is an outmoded concept. Part of what is happening now as greater consciousness comes into form is that we are embodying that consciousness. So there's been stepping stones to this. There's been baby steps, I would say, along the way to getting to where we are now. And this is getting into a whole other realm to talk about, and that will be in part 2 of this video. But suffice to say that right now, where you are, the essence of who you are, who you really are, is consciousness. It is your inner being. And when you connect within to that inner being, it's where it feels really grounded, centered, present, and this is who you want driving the car in your life. So one of the first mistakes that people make is they get a taste of this inner being and then immediately bounce back out to some other external subpersonality who tries sitting in the driver's seat driving the car. I'm the inner being. And how you can tell that's not your inner being, or how it's like your false self, is how it is navigating and how that really feels. It doesn't feel deep. It doesn't feel confident. It's not really the essence of who you are. It's moody. It's opinionated. It's certainly not neutral and certainly not amused. So some of those are other clues about the essence of who you are is also neutral, amused, expansive, can be joyful in playing. So the real big thing to notice is who you're letting drive your car and allowing the greater aspect of yourself to have the hands on the wheels. You don't have to dismantle your ego. You don't have to fire your subpersonalities. It's that they all have a place within you, but some of them belong in the car seat. Some of them belong maybe in the far back. And I tell you, when it's you, the essence of who you are, is driving the bus, is driving the car, everything in your life falls into place. You start going where you want to go. You start manifesting what you want to manifest. Maybe not what your ego thought wanted to manifest, but what you wanted to manifest. It comes about in a more perfect, surprising, unexpected, complete, wonderful, lovely way. So if you like these videos, you can subscribe to them on YouTube. You can also sign up below to get them in your inbox. If you want to know more, my website is joan-newcomb.com. I have a weekly radio show podcast. I write a weekly blog and newsletter. I do these videos once a week. I do meetups around the Puget Sound in Seattle, Tacoma, and places in between. I do a monthly webinar for people who live around the world. And if you want to know more about how to navigate your life as consciousness, some helpful techniques and ways to do that, go to my website, joan-newcomb.com, and look at my coaching programs. So go to joan-newcomb.com, and I'll see you in another couple days with another Mystic Minute.